Hi, everybody. Robin McCoy here, and welcome to another episode of Crushing with Your Tribe. I'm very excited to have my friend Zay Mixon on the show today. And she is a woman of many talents. She is a mother and skills beyond skills. So I'm excited for her to come on and talk to us today about how and why she does so many different wonderful things. So stay tuned for Crushing It with Your Tribe.
As a Texas realtor, Robin McCoy is in the unique position to meet and know so many different people in a wide range of industries. These people are her tribe, and she leverages them not only to help her business, but to help theirs as well. Welcome to Crushing It with Your Tribe, where we share real talk about building business and life relationships. Here is your host, Robin McCoy.
Hey, everybody, it's Robin McCoy, and welcome to another episode of Crushing It with Your Tribe. And today I have a really good friend on the show, and she is also an agent, a real estate agent in my office, but she is so much more, and she does so many things that I thought it was time that you could, time you heard from Zay. So, Zay Mixon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for the invite. You are truly crushing it with your tribe, and like truly, with all sincerity. And so it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you so much. Well, let me tell you guys a little bit about Zay. She is more than just a real estate agent. First of all, she's a wife. She is a wife of 15 years, I think she said. She is a mother of 3 children, which we'll get into those kids in a minute because they come in here sometimes, and they are some good kids right there. She is a licensed realtor. She is a licensed life agent. She is a notary public. She is an author. She is a millennial. She called she meant to make sure that you understand that she is a millennial. She holds a motorcycle license. She holds a CDL license. She's done some trucking. She, holds a gun, license to carry, I guess, license. And her passion, she lives a life on purpose. She's a speaker. She says she grew up poor on food stamps, no present father. Her mom was a single parent. So her contribution to the community was birthed from my past. So I remember you and I, we were at Family Reunion, which is a Keller Williams, national convention every year for those that don't know. And you said that you were going to change the destiny you were born into.
I mean, that's great. I can't remember that I said that, but
you did. You said that.
That's great.
You said that you said that if I don't do this, then who will? And I want my children to understand that they can do anything they set their mind to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't remember, it was a couple years back, I guess, since we've been there. But that statement still holds true. My children are my why. And everything I do is so that I can at least pass down the skill and or the lessons that come through the things that I do to them. Because I tell them, you can take stuff away from me, but you can't take what I know. And so if I can give them that, I think that's more important than the boat that I leave them, or $1 million or something like that, which I'll leave them both. But I do value what I do more importantly, and who I am and how I contribute to the world more important than stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I do want to mention too, when I met her, she was also a teacher. So she has been taught in the classroom and all of these things. And I live a little bit in awe of the amount of just things that you do. The number of, just even the number of licenses or certifications that you hold. Why so many? Why this, and this?
Robin, well, first, you're the first person to ask me that. And so now that I think about it, I can only think, why not?
Okay.
Why not? I've always lived as my adult life. So growing up, I was told what to do, how to do it, and I have to do that. And out of respect of my mom, I did it. But now it's like, well, I can do this. Why not? Like, I'm also a musician and I play the drums, right? I play the drums at my church, and I played the drums for my husband's some of his music in his music career. And I always thought like if they can do it, I can do it. And so it's not that I take the mentality in everything, but I can do these things. And it's like
Yeah.
why not do it if you can do it? You know, if it would be different if I had an ailment or physical ailment and I could not do things, or if I had some restrictions, but I can do it. And it's just why not do it?
Well, and I think that's a great answer because, if not me, then who?
Mhm.
And if I'm going to teach my children or anybody that is watching me, because we all know people are watching and
Right, right,
people are going to say what they're going to say, but people that are watching, we influence them.
right, right,
And, like you said, why not? I'm capable of doing it. You can't take knowledge away from me. The more I know, the more I know.
right. And then you can, and most of the licenses that I did create, for example, having a life insurance license, I my passion behind that was literally because I wanted to make sure I set up my insurance policies that it can benefit my family and myself. And so everything that I've done, why not was a question, but I also wanted to make sure I was doing it right because I'm just
What's the
by the
best
book.
way to understand it? Go to school and get the license that the people selling it to you
It's
have.
good, absolutely, because before I bought my first house, I had my real estate license, and that was my plan the whole time. I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure I got it, understood it, and then the good part is I was able to get paid from doing it. I knew the market, I knew how to buy, I bought with equity, all those things were a benefit from having the license. And so I was able to do it the right way. So the same reason I've done most of the things, got my gun license, so that I could properly shoot someone if I needed. No, but I really wanted the education
Yeah.
because I wanna know how to do it right, right? It's
Right.
people who take, for example, having a gun, they'll take it and they don't know how to use it or they're too young, and then we have all these situations that we have in America today versus those who know what to do, know how to do it, and I can educate my children. This is how you handle this.
Yeah.
This is what you do. And so, my point was I get these things, but it's not just for me. Some people don't have the money to invest into a $3,000 program. I can go invest into a $3,000 program and I can take everything that I learned and I can help and I can give them that information. So it could take $3,000 one time and this person could have the liberty to get this information, to utilize it, to actually do it and have it work for them. And now they can earn $3,000 and then can do something else. But maybe they didn't have that initial investment. And I think the core of what I know is for someone else.
Yeah, that is truly how you think. We've had conversations, and she's not just saying this stuff on the. No, she really means it. She really means it. Now let's talk about your kids and your family because, like you said, they are your why. And I watch, like I said, she's had the kids in the office. She comes into work, and they come with her. Spring break during the summer, those sorts of things. They sit there. I've seen them working for her, doing things. And how old are they? Remind me how old they are.
Now they're 8. My youngest is 8, and then Hannah is 11, and little son will be 13 on next month. So
Okay.
they're
And
getting
one
up.
of them is special needs, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. That's my oldest. My absolutely, he's just my heart. He's everything to me, and very, very sensitive. When I talk about him because and back to one of my teaching license, and I got my teaching license because of my son. So we were facing when I guess around the time we were trying to get him diagnosed, the school would tell me one thing, and then I had my own beliefs because I'm pretty smart now. I read.
And you live with him.
Yeah, yeah. You can't, right? I just don't accept what you say about me when you don't know me, and
Right.
so I took what they said. My husband and I, we talked about it. We agreed to get him tested, and he ended up being on the spectrum for autism. But I have a lot of just some background information on that. So, anyways, long story short, just going through all of that, I decided to go ahead and get certified in special education because I wanted to know more about how that would work in school because we had faced so many different I don't even know what to call it. I'll just say problems within education around my son. They wanted to say he was this and he should take this. And I was like, no, that don't work for him.
Yeah.
I He's my child, and I'm very responsible. I feel like it's my responsibility to teach my child. It's my responsibility to say what he is or is not. And so I got the license. I went, I had the degree, everything I needed to do. And I got into it because I needed to know more. And I needed to know how that would help, what services that I could do in addition to help my son. And I've done all that, and he's the reason why I've done that. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought about getting
Why?
that.
Because this is your direct, it has a direct impact on you and your family
Right,
if you fully understand as much as that there is to understand about not only your son and his place,
right,
but
right,
what is the best way for him to learn? What
right.
are the best places and environments for him to do that so that you can advocate? Is this the year that you're going to stop paying rent? Is this the year that you are going to finally purchase your own home? But where do you start? How do you get your questions answered? Well, I'm Robin McCoy, and I'm a Texas realtor with Keller Williams. Relax, I got this. I have a home buyers masterclass the first Saturday of every month, and it's free to you, and it's all online. Just text the word masterclass to 214-226-3770, and we'll get you registered and on the path to home ownership. What is the best way for him to learn? What
Right,
are the best places and environments for him to do that so that you can advocate?
right, right. And then I was able to advocate for myself. And then my husband is a philosopher, so it's not good for the school districts, I can say that. But we were able to advocate for our son. We were able to teach him how to advocate for himself.
Yeah.
And I was able to advocate for other parents because I was case management with other students who had disabilities in a couple of my careers, roles within education. And I was able to tell parents who had no idea what the school was doing with their child while they were at home. I was
Mhm.
able to say, you want to do this, X, Y, and Z, come to these meetings and encourage them to be involved and be present because
Yeah.
without you there, anything goes. And
Anything
I
goes.
that's just so unfortunate. And I just never like to see that. And so I was able to help in other ways. And then really grasp how it's working and understand that homeschool is gonna be the best option for him. So, you know,
So
I just
you're homeschooling him.
currently I am, and
Wow.
just looking for, you do what you have to do because I'm young, so I'm still having to work. If I was 50, it'd be different. That age, we could just do homeschool, homeschool, homeschool. So I put him, it's been a variety of experiences. We've been in private school, he's been in charter school, he's been in public school, and he's been homeschooled. And out of each of those, homeschooling has been the best option for him. Um, and I'm able to teach him other things. So it's not like when he's in office and now
Mhm.
he's currently reading a financial literacy book. We're going over concepts. I'm finding, and I'm able to gauge what he actually likes to do,
Mhm.
and to be able to kind of help him more in that area. Because if he didn't like, or if he's not able to do certain things based off his disability, which his disability is not a learning disability. Um, so he can learn it, and that's exactly what I tell him. You don't have a learning disability. You have a social disability. So some things that you probably wouldn't say in public, like I wouldn't say this, you may say it because you don't think too far ahead to not say it.
Yeah.
But you don't have a learning disability. And so you
So don't
understand.
use that excuse to
Oh
not
yeah.
try and learn something.
Oh yeah. And he tried that. That was so hilarious. Is he was like, well, because of my disability, let's stop right there. Because this is not the same. Um, and then both my husband and I both are educators, so it just
That
kind of
helps.
sucks for
That
the
helps.
kids and their perspective because you can't get over on teachers no matter what. Like
No. No.
you're doing this. That's it.
Well, and then and then you've got your 2 other kids, and Hannah is like your mini me. She looks just like you. There's no
Yeah.
denying that kid.
No.
But I see you working with her, getting her YouTube channel and making this and doing that. And
Yeah.
she's out there doing fundraising things
Yeah.
and setting up booths at events, and she's
Yes.
what, 11?
Yes, she is. She is currently 11. Yes.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, how do you, I mean, is that her? Is that
That's totally Hannah. Like she's she is, and then 90% of what children do, they get it from you,
sure.
parents. And so this message is for parents. Be aware and be of what you do, because your children are watching
Yeah.
100%. And so being an entrepreneur, she's seen it, all her life. And so I guess, a portion of that is that, but she's so much more than so much more than that. Her personality is just big. It's just
It
beautiful.
is. It
Um,
is.
so she come up with ideas and we'll support it. And
Yeah.
so she wanted to do the channel. She's great with people. She actually loves talking with people. Like absolutely love it. And so whatever it is, it took us a while. It was YouTube and age. It's like, we're gonna
Yeah, yeah. I
go
mean, well, there's some, yeah, there's some, there's some parental things that need to come in at
right,
that point, right? This is what we're going to keep an eye on. This is what we're going to do. This is what you're not going to do. And
right,
you got to set
right,
boundaries for them just to keep them
absolutely,
safe these days.
right,
Not
absolutely.
keeping them
So
safe.
we put all the blockers on the channel.
Yeah.
What come in, what no comments, everything. And we're letting her do it, and we're just teaching, just be consistent. Just be consistent
Mhm.
with it. And she has so many gifts. She just has so many gifts. She sings. She's a creative. She's also very techy, straight A's. When she was in public school, not in private school, when she was in public school, they had the STAR test, and she would make perfect scores on those tests without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And and so people were like, "Who's this?" Just amazed. I want her in my class. No, I want her in my class. Like, wait. But God blessed her with that. Yeah, he did it, and she was just that way. She just born that way.
That's
So
awesome.
we're
That's
so
awesome.
glad. She's our only girl, and she's getting older now. So it's
You better watch out.
well, she's a lot right now.
All right, now tell me about your youngest. And I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Gabriel. So
Gabriel, that's right. Tell me about
yeah.
him. What's he turning into at age 9?
Oh man. So he's almost 9, and he's so as a baby, like he was a boss man. We called him boss because he just walked around looking like somebody's boss, like telling people what to do at 1. He was, he had this finger. And I just ran across a picture when I had him at one of the KW Christmas parties, and he had his little suit on. He took a picture behind the KW signs. But he's turning into a boss right now. We're seeing some changes that he's gifted. He's very sensitive and very caring. So he's the intuitive type. So
Mhm.
he knows what to say, even to me as a parent. He's like, "Mom, you just the absolute best, and I really appreciate you what you do, and I see it, and we notice you." And I'm like, "What? Who's this?" All at the right time. So he's very
Yeah,
intuitive. So we just can't wait to see what he's going to turn out to be.
sure.
Because
Well, and I think, and I wanted to spend some time talking about these kids because they they do see what you're doing. They
mm,
do see um how you are educating yourself and how you and your husband are advocating for them and for their older brother, and
mhm,
how you take a stand
mhm,
for yourself. Like you said, you may be able to take away my things, but you'll never take away what I know.
mhm, mhm,
And it's almost like that is the legacy you intend to leave, is the gift of knowledge, and what you can share, that not when you share that knowledge with other people, what that can ultimately bring you.
right, right, and that's legacy. That's
Yeah, I think that's legacy too.
mhm.
Now let's talk about being an author.
Oh yes,
We're going to jump around because you got so many
okay.
things. We got to get it all in. So
Yeah.
tell me, okay, so let's talk about the books that you've written. What are they about, and what started the whole thing?
Okay, so let me see. Okay, I have so this book here, Position for Power.
Hmm.
And it's a short I'll give a brief story about it. It's a basic financial principles type of book. And even now, like this month is financial awareness month. And so I'm pushing this book more so. Now I've written this book about 2 years ago, could have been. Taking a look. And so it's like a lot of basics. So I wrote this book because as a realtor, we get people say, "Oh, I want to buy a house," and they don't know where to start.
Right.
And then, they'll like, I actually have to have a little money saved. And, the questions were just there. And all these questions, I wanted to answer those questions. And this is basically, how do I get you just need a basic foundation before you even get started. And so
Right.
what are those things? Understanding how to budget, understanding how to have I wouldn't say balanced life, but just some basic skills for just management. Um, it's
Hmm.
a little principles or introductions to stocks and things like that that's in here. Although stocks would be after real estate, invested in real estate, in my opinion. But just basic things that kind of address life balances and budgets and what you need
Well, and
prior to.
as realtors, we do get that question, right? We get that a lot that says, okay, I want to buy a house, but I don't, what does that mean, a down payment? Or how much do I
Right,
need? Or what can I afford? Or what does interest rates mean? Or how
right.
does that impact?
And I have a
Right?
glossary in there with a lot of that as well. So just getting
Yeah.
those fundamentals out the way. It's just kind of like when you go to college and prior to algebra, if you didn't have the basics, you had to take a fundamental class.
Yes.
And that's where I see it as fundamentals so that everybody can just have a general idea of kind of where you should work, a bank account, savings, just the basic stuff.
Sure.
That was that book. And it came about, I was given the opportunity to do um, it was during a women's convention at my church, and I was given an opportunity to do a class. And it was entitled Position for Power. And it's basically the same thoughts, how to empower us to be in the right position so that we
Yeah.
can make power moves. And from that course that I taught, I came up with the book because I saw the need. It was so many people that were just unaware of. And I said, what's one way that I can reach more people versus the 200, 300 people that showed up? How could I
Right.
reach more people than that? And birth the book, Position for Power. And
Excellent.
so I did that one. And then the latest one that I did was How to Buy a Home in 7 Easy Steps. And essentially this would be a become a business card where I'm handing them out. But just knowing how to buy a house, knowing the process and before you get to a realtor, I'm doing that book for the realtors. I've done it for the realtors because it just makes it so much easier. And it's not easier as we do less work. It's easier in the sense that you know what's going on and you're less skeptical. You don't have to put up a defense because you understand that this process is for me as a buyer. And
Right.
so I eliminate the fluff. You can see the book's not big.
Right.
I eliminate the fluff and I get straight to the point.
That's kind of you anyway, straight to
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah. Just like, what do you need to know and how's it going to help you? And there you have it. And if you can read on 8th grade level, you can read this. And I did that. And being a reading teacher, I was a reading teacher, English teacher. Um, I just kind of understand how to write so that
Hmm.
everybody can get it. Like, you don't have to have a doctor's degree to read that book.
No. Well, and I think sometimes people just need just a little bit of information so that even when they get to you or me, they
Hmm.
know what questions to ask.
Hmm.
And because many people don't know what they don't know. And it's
Right,
okay not to know something. It is
right.
fine. It's not okay just to not go learn it or, to
Mhm.
be too afraid to go learn it. I don't think that's
Right.
okay. I think you need to understand how it works
Hmm.
so that you can make the best decisions
Right.
for you and your family.
Right. Right. Right.
Not what I think, not what
Right.
Zay thinks.
Right.
What
Right.
is the best we will give you the information. We'll educate you so that you can make that decision
Hmm.
for you and your family, not us. We're just the conduit to help make it happen.
Right. And I look at these books as empowerment tools. Well, you have it, and now you make a decision on what you want to do. But when you have, especially How to Buy a Home, when you're going through a process, like by the time they get to option period, they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now they're doing inspections,
And
and
now
you
this
feel
is next.
empowered because you know how to communicate with your realtor.
Yeah.
And it's, it's great to have educated clients, like you personally. It's
Well,
great
and
to
it
have.
makes it easier for them. Like you said, it's not that we want educated clients because it's less work for us.
Mhm.
It's educated clients so that they understand the process and they're not making decisions based on rumor or
Right,
what their Uncle Bob's
right.
second cousin told them, you know? So these things are needed out there.
Yes, right.
And I, as one realtor, appreciate you writing it down.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Y'all welcome.
So
Yeah.
tell me what, if there is, let's say there's a woman out there who, you know, I don't know, she just maybe, a little nervous or fearful of taking these steps. What would you
Mhm.
say to her?
Well, fear is false evidence appearing real. And that's what Les Brown said. I don't know where he got it from. It could have been his phrase, but it's not real. So why are we afraid? That's the
Yeah.
question I always ask. Afraid of what?
Afraid of what?
And so I know that what education can do, and it'll eliminate those fears.
Yeah.
So if it's something that, let's say you're interested in cooking or doing hair and you just, I don't know what to do, I'm just so afraid. Well, first find a book or a YouTube channel that talks about it. And you'll
Yeah.
say, oh, you start getting these ideas. Oh, write them down. Start reading books about it. Not necessarily have to rush and just jump out and say, I started a business. Well, just take your steps, um, and then do your steps and get your information, because that'll eliminate, once you know it and you don't do it, now you have to, now you need to see a counselor. Like now it's something different is going, because now you need to get to deeper, there could be some deeper issues, right? Because all I need to do is know,
Yeah.
because I'll take action. I just don't want to be taking the wrong action. So that's why I'm so big on, let me find out what I'm doing. Let me get the information that I need to do, and then I can do it. And so since I know that fear is not real, then what I'm thinking, and they call it the drunk monkey in real estate, all that stuff, that's not real. Like that doesn't
Just
exist. It's fluff, it's talk. It's like you just, it's
well,
this.
and you have to, we've got there's always going to be the people in your life that are going to be the girl, you don't know how to do hair. How are you going to start doing that now? Girl, you are 40 years old. Why are you starting
Right.
a new career now?
Right. And people will do that, but they
Mhm.
don't know. And
Right.
so that's the reason why, and I don't know, I was thinking like, I cannot, there's no way I would let somebody dictate my life if they hadn't been in my shoes. And so they don't know where
That's a
you
good
come from.
philosophy.
Right. If you've never been where I've been, you've never been impoverished like I have been, then nothing that I do, you have nothing to say about what I do. I mean, because if you did, it didn't matter to me. Like
Yeah.
that's what you think. So you can't be mad at me because I'm not taking your advice. You don't know where I've been. And
Well,
so
and I think sometimes, when people want to say, now, why on earth would you go get your life insurance, license, or why on earth would you do ABC? It's oftentimes a fear, it's a reflection, I guess
right,
is the word
right,
I'm looking. What they're saying to you
right.
is just really a reflection on
They're
themselves and
projecting,
their own fears.
right. They're projecting their fears on you. And I always reject people's projection.
Reject the projection.
Right, right. I can't accept that because that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Because your experiences are not my experiences. Once you understand that, we two different people, two different experiences. You come from somewhere you may have a fear of water because you drowned or almost drowned or something. And so you can't tell me to not to learn how to swim because you almost drowned. You see,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it doesn't even make sense.
But you know what? What's cool is if you come from here and I come from here and we've got different experiences and now we are together in this room
Mhm.
where we can have the conversation and we can learn, and this is where learning and understanding
Right.
comes from. And I think we're in a time in our society that we just don't do that.
Mhm.
We just
Mhm.
don't do that. And I think, and I just, use you and your children as the example. You take them places and you show them all the different things,
Yeah.
right? They are very well exposed to the different, whether it's different places, people,
Yeah.
positions,
Yeah.
all the stuff, right? So that they can learn and they can develop into this world that we have created for them.
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
So that they can learn and they can develop into this world that we have created for them.
Right, right. And that's fair to them. That's what I personally believe I owe them experiences.
Mhm.
And then you will say, well, why? Because for me, in my journey and the way I grew up, I didn't have many experiences. And so I was ready to, that's why I was started getting into books. I was like, oh, I can know what it's like to be in Greece without being in Greece. I can just read about it. And
Yeah.
so you can get experiences that way, but it's just much more fun to do it.
More fun to just go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things, and even like skills. Like I would tell people who, if you think about it, if you thinking about it, do it. If you think
Well,
about it,
it's
do
on
it.
your mind for a reason, right?
Right, right,
And doesn't mean you have to do it again,
right, right.
right? So you're interested, you're curious about it, you learn a little bit about it, you go do it. If you don't like it, don't do it again.
Right.
You don't have to commit your whole life to
Right,
this
right.
one idea.
Like a job, like teaching. Um, and people say, "Oh, well, you teach, you gonna stay there?" Well, that's not the way it works in teaching, like in teaching industry. Well, if this school is not a good fit for me, I'll go to another one. I'll do another one. And I know maybe millennials think this way. I can't speak for us all, but that's the way I take it sometimes with just schools. But I have the core fundamental of what I need to know and what it means to educate and how to educate. Like I have all that stuff. We tons and tons of training on that. So I got that, but you got to find your environment as well. So if you don't fit,
Oh,
find one that fits. And I'm just a little bit different than most people, in my culture and my age group, or just a little bit different, but I'm great. I'm okay with that.
yeah.
And like people like you're very cool to hang with.
You're cool to hang with too.
Yes, find those people, it's not that.
Well, and it's find your tribe, right? Find the people that you can share things with that you're different from,
Hmm.
but also the same as.
Hmm.
And I had a coach tell me one time, bloom where you're planted.
Hmm.
You're planted here. Let's bloom. Let's see
Right.
what we can look like
Hmm.
when we just follow that dream or follow that goal or follow that idea,
Yeah.
because you don't know what it's going to mean. You have
Right.
no idea
Right. Right.
until
Right.
you get there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. And just want to give some shout outs to you because you've been my coach in the past, and I never forget it. And I love helping others because of people like coaches. Be a coach, have a coach, and I've always just kept that philosophy. And so you've been a great coach,
Well,
in
thank
my
you.
past, and you right up there with the top number one.
Oh. Well, thank you, thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. I'm with you. I think if I can educate people and share what I know
Hmm.
with them, then Zig Ziglar said, if you help get more people get what they want, you'll get more of what you want. And
Right.
most of the time it's really just the satisfaction of knowing that I was able to guide you at
Yeah.
some point in this direction. And like I said, I've watched you grow and flourish over the last few years,
Hmm.
and build all these different just paths
Yeah.
and opportunities to follow any of them or none of them.
Right, right. 'Cause if I wanna do it, don't do it. But I
Yeah.
can teach, let's say my life insurance license afford me, a couple grand a month extra, that would be great. But let's say I teach my son everything that I know about it, and then he become a millionaire just doing that.
Yeah.
Now, that would be awesome,
Because
and it would
then he
be
can take care of you in your old age and you can stop working.
Well, I told him I'm gonna take care of myself because I really don't think I'll ever stop doing real estate because it's so beautiful, right? It's
Yeah.
I know what it can do for you, and it's like who wouldn't want to do it, you know? And
Yeah.
so it's just beautiful for me. It's one of my loves, my passions. May not be beautiful, may be dark for some other people, but for me,
But
like
it's showing people how they can build and educating them about generation. We hear all this about generational wealth all the time,
yeah, yeah,
but it truly does. And I, as a woman growing up in the 70s, I
mm,
didn't really learn a lot about it until I was much older.
mm,
So it's just, there's these age gaps, and that was just me. Doesn't
yeah,
mean that all other 60-year-old women didn't learn it. That's not what I
right,
mean.
right,
But for me, I didn't. And it
mm,
took me to get into my 40s really
mm.
to start understanding some of these things.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of my whole thing. Like they'll say, "If I knew then what I know now," that phrase. Yeah,
Yeah. But you
that's
can't
exactly
can't go
it.
back. All you can do is go forward.
Move forward. Exactly, exactly. And so what I vowed to do was make sure I can teach my kids then what I know now, like
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
I at least I can give to somebody else that's younger because thankfully I started in real estate in my 20s.
Yeah.
So that it's not too bad, but I was like, man, if I did it when I was 18. So guess what I do now? I try and get 18-year-olds and high school students. I try to implement programs and things that can help them get started at 18
Sure.
because once they learn it. Now, real estate is a portion of finance, just want to be clear because insurance is also another portion of finance. Knowing how to invest and how to move and how to save and how to use that money to
All
make
the
that money.
things. Yep.
That's what's gonna make you the wealthy millionaire,
Yeah.
not doing, one thing and that's
Not
don't
just
know
one
what
thing. You've
to
got to understand all the facets that go to
do it.
it.
Right, right. And so
Absolutely.
that's what I want to teach 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20. That's what I want to teach them because it's a journey. And so nothing comes fast. And let me show you that this is not fast, but it works. And
Well,
so
and
I
that's what Gary Keller says, that most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but completely underestimate what can happen in 5 years.
mhm, that's good.
And, there are people that have completely changed their lives, whether it's their physical life or their financial life or their
Mhm,
emotional life in just 5 years, and they're completely in a whole different place just based on their own intention. It's really about intention.
right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, as we wrap this up, I would like you to just think about what we didn't say. What is one thing that you would like to leave people with after this conversation?
So much. Let's see. I'm I'll just say because I'm like Nike and I'm always straight to the point. Just do it.
Just do it.
If
I
it's
love
something
that.
that you want, just do it. Don't let any thoughts hold you back and or get counseling through those thoughts because
Mhm.
that could be just something or you have to get over and it's a portion of your life. Know that you can do it. I think that's important. Know that you are qualified enough to do it, right? Because
Mhm.
although I have college degrees, I come from and I want to say this, I have a GED. And you know what that is? That's a
Mhm.
general education diploma. I don't have a high school diploma. And most people don't know that. I didn't pass the tax. And I just thought, thinking back now, like, man, if I'd known I wouldn't go get a high school diploma because I didn't pass that tax test, I would have just dropped out at 16 and went to college. It's the same GED, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But just don't let your past story define your future you
Yeah. I love that.
because no one would ever know unless I tell them. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I never knew that because I'm in rooms with millionaires and I'm in rooms with different people, different cultures, different communities, different ages, and I'm always usually the youngest, like the youngest, the female, and the African American.
Got all three. You're the trifecta.
Yeah, in the room. But I love those rooms
Yeah.
because that's something that I could take from it. And so I don't have a high school diploma. I don't look at that as but poor
As if
me.
it's gonna hold you back.
Right, absolutely. Because I don't have a high school diploma, but I have two college degrees. And
There
I
you
have
go.
many other things that could suffice for that if that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So anybody else can do it. Like if and I tell people, if I can do it, you can do it.
Beautiful. I love it. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for being on the show today, Zay. I really appreciate your honesty and your transparency.
Absolutely.
We're going to have all of Zay's contact information in all the show notes, how you can get a hold of her books, and just if you want to talk to her about that thing that you think you want to do,
Yeah.
she is more than happy to talk you through some of that. So thank you
Absolutely.
for being on the show, and
All
thank you for listening to another episode of Crushing with Your Tribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because you never know who's going to show up on this show. All right, well, thank you
right.
again. Bye, Zay. We'll see you
Okay.
soon, and
All right.
everybody, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for Crushing It with Your Tribe with Texas Realtor Robin McCoy. Check out all the show notes for contact information on Robin and her guests and to access your free resources and information discussed on this episode. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. Thanks again, and we will see you next time on Crushing It with Your Tribe with Robin McCoy.